the good fortune to live in Vrindavan for an extended period of time. Most of my career in Krishna consciousness, I started when I was, we ran out of power here. Hare Krishna. When I was, you're the sound man? Is it working? Okay. Started when I was 19, and now I'm old dinosaur, 74 years old. So for 53 years I traveled. 53 years. And sannyas means that, a rolling stone gathers no moss. So traditionally a sannyasi, he can only stay 3 days in one place. Then he has to move on. Of course, in ISKCON we have various responsibilities when we come to some place, so we would stay longer, but the basic principle is keep moving. Just keep moving. So, following that injunction, I kept moving for 52 years, and then I found myself in Vrindavan on a short visit, just to get some spiritual inspiration. Prabhupada said Vrindavan is for inspiration. And while I was there, the COVID hit, and India closed its border within 72 hours. And I couldn't get out of India. And the government said, it's no problem, you stay as long as there's COVID. We thought it'd last 3 months. It lasted 2.5 years. And because it was so bad, and where we were staying, we could see the funeral pyres. From where we were staying, we could see the funeral pyres, the bodies being burned. We rarely went out of the house, isn't it? Kartamashi was with me, Brajachandrika. We could rarely go out of the house. So I couldn't travel, so I thought I'd travel inside. And I had this big bookshelf of books that I'd been accumulating for many, many years in my little bhajan kutir. And I hadn't read them much because I was always on the move. So I said, okay, Radharani, she's the queen of Vrindavan. Nothing happens in Vrindavan without her blessing. I took it as a blessing that I was stuck in Vrindavan. Who can complain? So for almost 3 years, I read the books. I don't remember a thing, but I spoke it. I spoke it. We have our Vrindavan series, and now we're up to something like 450 classes on the Vrindavan series. And we're going to be publishing all those lectures in book form. So anyway, there for a long time. And then I thought, just recently I thought maybe I'd break out and just go to different places in the world and share the Vrindavan experience. And actually I had only a few weeks, because next week my good friend Swami, it's his time for doing his annual puja for Shri Shri Radharamanji. And he always asks me to help him. Not that I can go on the altar, but we're very good friends, Pundarik Goswami. And I help him organize. We do Harinams around Vrindavan, and we invite sadhus to his home, and we have kirtans and classes. So I promised him I'd be back for the new year. So I could only come to 4 places in the world. So I thought, what should I do? Should I go north? Should I go south? Should I go east? Or should I go west? And my first thoughts drifted to the great country of the United States of America. And I thought of little Vrinda and her brother, and I thought of Aradhya and Kaylee, and so many devotees here, so many young disciples actually. So I thought, I have to come to America. But then I started getting all kinds of invitations all along the East Coast, in the Deep South, and in the middle of America, up north, Seattle, Portland, all over. So I had to decide where I would go. So I chose 4 places in this order. ISV. Austin, Texas. You don't have to clap unless you're from Texas. Virginia, and the Bhakti Center in New York. But I did it in reverse because I wanted to land there, get over jet lag. But really my first thought was to come here because, well, Rasik is here and Govinda's here and you're all here. And although I don't spend a lot of time here, I have a deep affection for this yatra because, of course, your leader, Vashishika Prabhu, is a good friend of mine. We're kind of like brothers in a sense. You know, we both come from the Bay Area. We both joined young. We both like Sankirtan. And we like to teach and preach Krishna consciousness. So we've been close for many, many years. And this is his Prabhu Datta Desh. What does the Prabhu Datta Desh means? It's what Mahaprabhu gives you, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Controller. He gives you as your place of service. Because he said the Sankirtan movement will one day go all over the world. He said explicitly it will go to every town and village. So in order for that to happen, there have to be devotees there. How can the movement spread without his representatives being there? Of course, as we've discussed many times, Lord Chaitanya, being the Yuga Avatar, being the Supreme Lord, being the combined form of Radha and Krishna, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anga. Originally the Lord was one, but in order to enjoy, he became two. Because if you try to enjoy by yourself, you'll get bored. You can't really enjoy, but you can take a break sometimes and go to your room, take a walk, but you need others to enjoy. So he's the Supreme Lord, and his enjoyment is supreme. So he expanded his Ladini Shakti. It means his pleasure potency. The very potency of his pleasure expanded persona as Vrindavan Eshwari Shrimati Radharani. And together the divine couple enjoy transcendental loving pastimes together. But in order to spread the Sankirtan movement in the age of Kali, those two again became one. It's very subtle, it's very deep, it's very esoteric. The two became one in the personality of Lord Chaitanya. And he descended in this world just like a moment in cosmic time, just like you just blink your eyes, he was here and he was gone. Cosmic time, 500 years ago. And he came to spread the Yuga Dharma of that most blissful, sublime chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he predicted. Such a sankalpa means whatever he says, it will come to pass. If you say something, maybe yes, maybe no, because it's dependent on your karma, your destiny, which is a mixture of the good, bad, and the ugly. So you never know exactly how things are going to turn out. You can make plans, but it doesn't necessarily mean they'll happen. But when Mahaprabhu makes a plan, because he's in every atom of the universe, he's avigna swarat, he's present everywhere, therefore he knows everything, past, present, and future. Whatever he says, you can be certain it's only a question of time before it's going to happen. So he predicted that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. It would go all over the world. Now this is, 500 years ago, what did the world look like? People were not traveling outside of their villages, in any part of the world, outside of their region, outside of their country. It just didn't happen in those days. Even to take a boat, you say from Europe to India, that would take many months, 6, 7, 8 months. There was no telephones. Can you believe it? There were no iPhones. There was no television. There was no radio. Like, how do you communicate? How do you spread a movement? How do you, as somebody in one country, go to another country and tell people to chant Hare Krishna? Like, what? Get out. We have our culture. So it's quite an amazing prediction, isn't it? This chanting, he's in a village in Bengal called Navadvip, population 300. And even they don't know what Hare Krishna is when he appeared. That was the seat of learning. Navadvip was the seat of learning, actually. Scholars would come there and debate philosophical truths. But there wasn't, the scholars and the pandits, they didn't sing and dance. If anyone did that, it was Sudras. They'd get drunk on wine and they'd sing and, scholars didn't sing and dance. And all of a sudden you have these two tall, effulgent personalities, brahmanas, singing and dancing, wearing jewels and flower garlands, long hair, effulgent like the sun and the moon, going through all the villages around Navadvip, saying that this is the Yuga Dharma, singing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It was new to Navadvip. It was new to the whole world. It was predicted, but no one expected it. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Shangopanga Shaparshadam Yagnai Sankirtan Prayar Yajantihi Shumeresha. It's very clear that the same person who appeared in Dwapara Yuga, the same Bhagavan, the owner of six opulences, Purushottam, the most benevolent of all male personalities, he will appear in Kali Yuga in a golden form. He won't be bluish black like a monsoon cloud. He'll be in a golden form, esoterically, because he'll have the mood of Krishna looking for Sri Radha. His mind will be very much meditating on Radha's love for him, for Krishna. So he'll have that ambience of Sri Radha. And he can be recognized by the fact that he's surrounded by a lot of people chanting his own names. Specifically, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he appeared, but when Mahaprabhu appeared, only two people knew he was God. Advaita Chandra and Haridas Thakur. They knew. Here's the Lord's arrangement. Advaita Charya and Haridas Thakur. When Mahaprabhu appeared at night time in Navadvip, and the full moon, they knew what was going on. Everyone else thought, oh, it's Ekadasi. Let's go bathe in the Ganges, because Ekadasi is not auspicious. So if we go bathe in Mother Ganges, we'll remain pure. And just to make sure, we'll chant some names of Bhagavan. We'll chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. At that moment, Mahaprabhu appeared in the house of Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi under the neem tree. Have you seen that neem tree? Yeah, it's still there. I took my son, Gaur Shakti, to Mayapur when he was 9 years old, maybe 10 years old. And I talked a lot about the pastime places around, Navadvip, Mayapur. It wasn't very developed in those days. This is like, some 40 years ago. But I mentioned that tree that Sachimata gave birth to Nimai Pandit under, because in those days ladies would, they'd actually give birth under auspicious trees, pipal trees, mango trees. They wouldn't be in some maternity ward in the hospital. They'd go and give birth under an auspicious tree. Would you like to do that, ladies? Lots of trees here. Different time, different circumstances. So that tree is very special. It witnessed the birth, the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I talk like that. And one day, Gaur Shakti, my son, one morning I was taking breakfast. I said, where's Shaktipad? I called him Shaktipad. We had Guru Pod, and we had this pod and that pod in ISKCON, so I called him Shakti Pod. I said, where's Shakti Pod? Where's my son? And nobody could find him. I got worried. Where's Gora? 2-3 hours went by. I was about to call the police, and little Gora, 10 years old, he walks in the room. Pita! I said, what happened? He said, I can't tell you. Something very mysterious happened to me. Something very deeply devotional happened to me. He didn't tell me till 8 years later. He kept it Gupta. Gupta means you keep it secret in the heart, like the gopis. They're called gopis. The word gopi comes from the word Gupta, because Gupta means hidden, and the gopis, they hide their love for Krishna in their hearts because of social customs. They're young girls. They can't express their love for an unmarried boy. So Gora kept Gupta, he kept a secret. 8 years later, I said, Gora, what happened? He said, Pita, I walked down the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur road to where Lord Chaitanya appeared. There's a Gaudiya Math temple there now, actually established by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he said, I went to that tree that you mentioned, and I was just going to stay for a day or something, but I mean, just for a couple hours, but I embraced that tree and I started shivering, and I started crying uncontrollably, and I started screaming, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. And then I woke up later, he fell unconscious. He said, Pita, don't tell anyone. I said, okay. But he's my son, so I'm telling you all. But yeah, that's a special tree. It happened to him. It happens sometimes, Jiva Goswami says that even a neophyte devotee may sometimes experience some preliminary ecstatic symptoms just by following the 5 angas, or the 5 primary activities of Krishna consciousness, like chanting Hare Krishna, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, worshipping the deity, visiting a holy place, or associating with devotees like you. Sometimes it's so potent, these processes. We take them for granted, but they're very powerful. Chanting, Bhagavatam, deity worship, going to Vrindavan, associated. Sometimes a neophyte devotee can experience some little beginning of a little ecstatic symptom, then it goes away. Just to give you a taste, to push on and continue to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness. So when Mahaprabhu appeared under that tree, no one knew that he was the Supreme Person. No one knew. Only Advaita and Haridas Thakur knew. But eventually the word got around. And in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, we hear that proclamation. Someday my name will go all over the world. So how? How is it? How could he make such a statement in such an era that I don't think even the European Renaissance had taken place by that time? But he's the Lord, he knew. And he could have done it, right? I mean, if he can create, maintain, and destroy the creation at the time of annihilation, Krishna can create it, he can maintain it as Vishnu, and he can destroy it as Shiva. If he's capable of doing that, couldn't he just, da-da-da-da-da-da, and pretty soon the whole world knows Hare Krishna? So we've discussed this many times. Why didn't he do that? So that question was asked to Prabhupada on the beach in 1973 in Mumbai. It was Bombay at the time. Disciples were walking with Prabhupada, and they said, Prabhupada, one disciple, he's like scratching his head, Prabhupada, if Lord Chaitanya is God, and he wanted to spread the movement all over the world, why didn't he do it? Well, Prabhupada's walking, and you could hear his cane, he stopped, he put his cane down, and there's that pose, he looked up like this. He said, he didn't do it because he wanted me to do it. You've seen that old science of self-realization? There's a picture of Prabhupada. I don't know how it looks these days, but he's looking up like this. You seen that picture? That was in France. We were traveling with Prabhupada. We had a temple in Paris, but Prabhupada wanted a farming community because we were getting so big. He wanted a place for householders and a farm to protect cows and show people what simple living and high thinking was. He wanted that to show that to the world. So he wanted to get a castle. We were in his room, he said, "We need a castle." And I went, wow, a castle, that'd be cool. So Prabhupada said, go out and search. We couldn't find any. There's lots of castles, but none of them were for sale. So Prabhupada drove in a car, and we followed behind in a car, and he went searching, and we saw all these amazing castles everywhere. But none of them were what we needed or the right place or anything. So then we're driving, and then it was time for lunch, so we stopped in a field, and Prabhupada took prasadam in this beautiful mustard field. Took prasadam there. And then Yogeshwara Das, my godbrother, he said, "Prabhupada, this would be a nice place to take a photo." So Prabhupada said, "Yes, and I shall pose." I thought, wow, Prabhupada's like so personal. You know, for us he was the grandoise, we say in French, le grandoise, regal, swan-like, Paramahansa personality who came from Goloka Vrindavan to help spread the Sankirtan movement, spreading Braj Bhakti to the most fallen people of the world, something quite amazing, as Rupa Goswami pointed out. But then Prabhupada was so practical sometimes, you know. He knew how to fix a harmonium, he knew how to cook, he knew so many things about everything, and he's going to pose for a photo, like a photo shoot. And it just convinced me more about Prabhupada, just that he was so wise in everything. So Prabhupada stood, and he made sure the background was good, and he put his cane and, "Okay, Yogeshwar, take the photo." And he's like that. You've seen that photo. It was a pose. That's so nice. So then, and then Prabhupada inaugurated in the Western countries this extension of Mahaprabhu's movement, which for all practical purposes is the movement, which is spreading the Sankirtan movement to every town and village. That should be noted by historians. Prabhupada's movement, ISKCON, is doing that. Others are helping, but the real work's being done by devotees like Vaisheshika Prabhu and others like that. So, it's interesting because Mahaprabhu could do it, but he left it to his devotee to do. Why? Because the devotee wants service. Devotee wants service, because service is the way that we show our love. Like a boy, just a mundane analogy, a boy says to a girl, "I love you." Okay, well, prove it. Go buy me a flower or a diamond ring, something. Diamonds are forever. That's a very mundane example. But love, and this Krishna conscious movement is all about love. Essentially, it's all about love. Awakening our dormant love for Radha and Krishna, and Tadiya, everything connected to Krishna. His representatives, the devotees, the deities, the deity paraphernalia, anything it's all about love. It's a I'll get it, hold on, I got it. It is love masquerading as a philosophy. How do you like that? It's a movement of love masquerading as philosophy. Because that's how and that's important because philosophy is like the foundation of a house. Then you build the house upon that. We have the tattva and we have the rasa. The tattva is the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita class, and the rasa is the Bhagavatam class, 10th canto. Both are needed. But it's the touch. So the philosophy is there to convince the common man. But we have to go beyond that in the sense that we have to realize the perfection of the philosophy is, oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment like 12 years or more, and tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. That's what we want to achieve. Yes, we want to spread the movement. At the same time, we ourselves want to become pure devotees. So don't have to come back to this miserable world. Not to detract from the Christmas marathon. I'll probably get in trouble for this. But one time a disciple said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I want to come back birth after birth after birth just to distribute your books. And Prabhupada said, what? He said, I am teaching Dukkalayam Shashvatam, repeating what Krishna says in the Gita. This is a miserable place full of so many problems. Utilize this life to go back home, back to Godhead. But the sentiment is good. That one would want to surrender everything to the spiritual master, because the spiritual master is ultimately giving us everything. And what is everything? Our loving relationship with Radha and Krishna. That's all we really, that's the perfection of love. So, when you're, even if you're just trying to love someone, it's like puppy love, like you meet someone in high school and you're just, feeling the first sentiments of love. What to speak of mature love? Love means you want to show your love. So we're talking about pure love. Bhakti yoga, amala parana, that's the Bhagavatam. Amala bhakti means selfless love. Real love means to give more than you take. This is Krishna consciousness. So we know that, and we want to show Krishna that we're trying to love him. So how do we do that? We serve. We take up some kind of service. And that indicates that we're interested in the relationship. We want to love Krishna. And every day, consciously or unconsciously, we're asking for service. Because what is the meaning of the mantra? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare. Give me some service. So if service comes, even if it's just washing the pots, we should never refuse, because washing the pots is more significant than becoming Lord non-devotee Brahma, being in charge of the whole universe. A little seva is more important because it's connecting us to Krishna. So essentially, because we're asking for service, Lord Chaitanya didn't spread the Sankirtan movement to every part of the world. He gave that to us. He gave us that as an opportunity to show how much appreciation we have for being rescued from this miserable ocean of material existence, and being given the opportunity after many lifetimes of forgetfulness to do some service for Krishna. And especially in December, which is traditionally the month of book distribution. And that is the theme of this yatra, isn't it? Who's your hero? Vaisheshika Prabhu and Mother. Yeah, they're your heroes. You have a male and a female hero. And you can all be inspired to do that. And you're very, very lucky, because that was the mood of Prabhupada. Who is he in the spiritual world? One time, one of my godbrothers asked, Prabhupada, who are you in Goloka Vrindavan? We're not supposed to speculate, actually, but he asked that question. Prabhupada, who are you in Goloka Vrindavan? Shall I tell you? Yes. Prabhupada said, if I told you, you would all faint. That was his answer. If I told you, you would faint. Prabhupada, whoever he is in the spiritual world, his mood here in this world is the mood that we follow. By serving him here in this world, we can serve his mood in the spiritual world. Whatever that will come, that will be revealed. Work now, samadhi later. So Prabhupada's mood was a lifetime of preparation. I think Saswarup Maharaj named the first volume of the Prabhupada Lilamrita very appropriately. A lifetime in preparation. Prabhupada said one time, in my life I never knew what was sinful activity. Like these children, they don't know what is sin. Maybe they see it, maybe sometimes the mind's diverted for a moment, but really they've never engaged in sinful activity, so they don't know. This is a great blessing. They don't know what is sinful activity. And then Prabhupada said, and I never forgot the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna for one moment. So his mood here, although a resident of Vrindavan, was to preach, share. And if that wasn't the case, none of us would be sitting here today. And for this movement to continue, century after century after century, we have to keep that same heartbeat. Dun 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 dun. That has to be our heartbeat. Share, 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 share Krishna consciousness. One time Prabhupada was walking on the beach, not far from here, Stinson Beach. You've heard of Stinson Beach? I used to live there, in the little sand dunes there. That was for us, the original surfers. We with the longboards. Don't clap. The original surfers. That's where I grew up, on the waters of Stinson Beach. But Prabhupada saw it in a different way. I saw every seventh wave. You know, in surfing, every seventh wave is a big wave. So we'd sit on our boards, second wave, third wave. And when the seventh wave came, we'd start paddling and one time Prabhupada said, surfers, they're sufferers. Because their next lifetime they'll take birth as dolphins. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for saving me from being a dolphin. Or worse. So when Prabhupada went to Stinson Beach, he's walking with the devotees and the waves. It was a good day. You know? Usually Fridays and Wednesdays were good days. So maybe it was a Friday. And the waves were breaking. Boom, boom, psh, boom, boom, psh. I know, I can hear the sound. Boom. It put me to sleep like at night. I go, psh. I wake up, psh, run to the water, get on the surfboard, shh, dolphins. So, boom, boom, psh. So Prabhupada turned to the devotees. He said, what is that sound? And the devotees said, Prabhupada, that's the sound of the waves pounding on the beach. And Prabhupada said, no. That's the sound of the gopis' heartbeats when they miss Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. Isn't that nice? This is the pure devotee. He sees Krishna everywhere because Krishna is everywhere, even if it's just in the form of his material energy. Maya dakshena prakriti suyute sachara charam. It's not different than him. So he saw Krishna everywhere. So the sound of the waves is the heartbeat of Krishna. So we hope for that one day. We will get that by blessings. Most of our progress in Krishna consciousness is, of course, by our strong sadhana. But really, I've concluded, after so many years, that our progress is really as a result of blessings. Just like one time, Prabhupada was leading Kirtan in Bury Street Temple, our first real temple in London. I went there, and he led Kirtan. He always chanted the same tune. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Now there's lots of tunes and melodies and musical instruments. Prabhupada just chanted that melody with a bongo in Thompson Square Park and changed the face of the earth. Because the chanting of Hare Krishna, he said, should particularly be heard from the lips of a pure devotee. Then it has a special effect. Yes, so that chanting has a special effect. So this was Prabhupada's mood to spread the chanting of Hare Krishna all over the world, and he didn't complete his mission. Of course, you could say he did, because one time he told Bhakti Charu Maharaj, my godbrother, who is with Prabhupada now in the spiritual world, he said to Bhakti Churmash, I'm coming back to India because I have successfully served the order of my spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, to spread the Krishna conscious movement in the English language in the West. I've done that, I'm successful. And other languages, French, German, Spanish, I've done that. So I'm coming back now to revive Krishna consciousness in Bengal. Because Bengal is the seat of the Sankirtan movement, is where Lord Chaitanya appeared. And thankfully he appeared there, and we imbibed that Bengali culture to a certain degree. Gaur Nitai, Gaur Nitai. The Bengalis say, Gaur Nitai. We imbibed that culture, and which is basically singing, dancing, and feasting. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Kesavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Simadhu Sudam Hey, Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Who could not be attracted to that melody, to those names, sweet names, original names of Krishna? People like to dance. They love to dance. And they love to eat. And imagine trying to spread the Sankirtan movement with the sweet of South India. Rasika, what is it called? Payasam. I'm sorry, I know many of you are from Chennai, Karnataka. You know payasam? I call it facilium. I can never remember payasam. Payasam is like, kind of wet spaghetti with sugar or something. When I first went down, they told me it was Brahmin spaghetti. I said, oh God, I'm going to get some spaghetti in India. Woo! So here it was, and it was sweet spaghetti, all squishy. Facilium. Pasayano. Whatever. Can you imagine trying to spread the same? Okay, we're going to have a Sunday feast, everybody. Da, da, da. Wow, what do the Hare Krishna have for sweet? Payasam. No disrespect. I mean, sometimes I like, But what about sandesh and burfi and rasmalai and misti dahi and all those Bengali sweets? In Delhi, they have a whole market. It's called Bengali market. It's all sweets. Gauranga Mahaprabhu K. Navadvip Mahapradam K. So I don't think it's by chance that Lord Chaitanya appeared in Bengal and spread that culture around the movement. That's very easy. But of course, it's not a Bengali culture. Our culture is the culture of the spiritual world. It's not Indian. Our culture's the culture of the planet of the cows. That's how Jiva Goswami describes Goloka. Someone said, what is Goloka? He said, it's a planet of cows. That's the goal, to go back to what? Maybe in the Midwest you tell someone if you become God conscious, you can go back to a planet of cows. Because they're all ranchers there. But these are Sarabi cows. And this is Jiva Goswami's definition of Goloka, a planet of cows. But they're cows and pasturing grounds. Krishna says to his father Nanda Maharaj, Pita, we're not people of the city. We're not city dwellers. We live in the forest and the kunds and the kunjas of the beautiful land of Vrindavan. So that's our goal. And we'll get there by each chanting every day on our mala. Where's my mala? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll show you my mala. If you want, any of you millionaires here? Come on. I'm not going to ask for a donation, it's okay. But if you offered me $1 million, you can try it. Somebody tried in Austin, it didn't work. I would not give you these japa beads. These beads are 200 years old. You see how they shine? They're 200 years old. And if you look closely, they're made from the root of the tulsi plant. The root, if you look really closely, the root of the tulsi plant. They're 200 years old, and they've been owned, chanted on by 4 generations of gurus. And one sadhu gave them to me. And when you chant on these beads, it's like, you get an electric pulse. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Yeah. The yogis, they keep their tejas in their hair. The scholars, they keep their tejas in their words. And the tejas means strength. And the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, their spiritual strength is in their beads. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And do I have that? Let's see if I'm wearing that. Oh, I am. When I was in 4th grade, we used to have show and tell. Do they still do that? Okay. Who made this garland? Huh? Such a nice garland. I wear it to sleep tonight. I want to show you something. This is a kavacha. And what is a sannyasi wearing such a ostentatious gold pendant like this? Because the whole spiritual world is in this pendant. There is a piece of the original chapals or sandals that Lord Chaitanya wore as a grihastra. And when he took sannyas, he gave those shoes to his mother, Sachimata, to give to his wife, Vishnupriya. Yeah. And they're kept in a temple in Navadvip in like an iron case. I can't tell the whole story, but there's a small piece of Lord Chaitanya's shoes in here. There's a small piece of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. There's a small piece of Raghunath Bhatta's chapels here. There's a small piece of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's shoes in here as well. There's a piece of the sash or the chadar of Shamananda Pandit, Shamananda, Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das Thakur, the 3 who went to Bengal with the books, a piece of his chadar in here. There's a small piece of the original Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, written by? Yeah, he wrote, and there's a small piece of the original in here. A small piece of Prarthana. Prarthana is a book written by Narottam Das Thakur in here. A piece of a book written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is also in here. There's a small piece, very small piece of the Antya-lila of the original Chaitanya Charitamrita written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. You should be fainting by now. There's a small piece of the final Kirtan of Srila Prabhupada. There's a small piece of the tree under which Lord Buddha got enlightened. What else? You remember? Are you following me?
It's the Bodhi tree from...
I just mentioned that, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. What else?
From Jharikanda forest.
Jharikanda forest, where Mahaprabhu converted all the animals. When they danced in ecstasy, their footprints, the rocks melted in ecstasy, so the footprints of all the animals are there. I saw it. There's deer, there's tigers, there's chipmunks, squirrels, snakes. They all started chanting Hare Krishna along with Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu danced in ecstasy, and his footprints are there. And when I paid my obeisances to those footprints, a little piece of the footprint came off, and I put it in here. What else?
There's Krishna Sandarbha of Jiva Goswami.
Yeah, Krishna Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami.
You mentioned most of it.
many other treasures. So I just want to share that with you because show and tell, we have to share everything we were talking about sharing. So I hope that just by seeing it, that will inspire you in your devotional service to help Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada in this movement to spread the Krishna consciousness movement to every town and village. You're at the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing, because you have that heroic personality, Vaisheshika Prabhu and his good wife, who have that heartbeat, boom, 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 to distribute books, distribute books, distribute books. And as a result, whoever you are, no matter what you did in this life or previous life, the good, bad, the ugly, by doing that Sankirtan movement, you'll receive blessings from above. And you'll make a lot of advancement in Krishna consciousness. So don't think of going here, there, anywhere. Even if you have time for vacation, wow, now I can go here. Just go to the temple with your beautiful deities and have kirtan and make plans with the other devotees here to distribute as many books as possible as you can in your lifetime. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada Ki. So, Kirtan. Do you like to dance? Okay. Is there a dance floor here? Is there a strong foundation? Whose harmonium is this? Finally, a good harmonium in America. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prem. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Prem. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, oh Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey! Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, oh Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Whoa! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, oh Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, oh Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant dance. Hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ho! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Ho! Hey, oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh! Krishna. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, oh Hare Hare, Hare Ram, oh Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Wow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Vivo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, hey, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Harimo! Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga. Oh, Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga. Oh, Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga. Hey, Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gaur. Hey, Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gaur. Hold on, Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gaur. Gora, Gora, Gora Hari. Go, 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 Hari. Go, 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 Hari. Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga. Oh, Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga. Hey, Nitai Gauranga Jai, Gaur Hari. Hey, Nitai Gauranga Jai, Gaur Hari. Hey, Nitai Gauranga Jai, Gaur Hari. Go, go, Gauri. Go, go, Gauri. Nityananda, 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 Ram. Nityananda, 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 Ram. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Woo! Wow, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare. Can't dance! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Woo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram. Chant dance, chant dance. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vivo! Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Holy name. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, hey, Hare Hare. Chant. Chant. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Go, 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 go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Woo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Oh no, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Woo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, oh Hare Ram, Ram oh. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Everybody. Hello. Jai Go Haribo, 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 Haribo. Hare Tagora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Go Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jai Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Vrindavan. Jai Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Go Premanandi! Should I go Premanandi? And did I go Premanandi? Did I go Premanandi? Jai Jai Sri Radhe, Jai Jai Sri Radhe, Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Sham Jao Mishnipad Paramahansa Paribhajikacharya Oshtata Sri Simad His Divine Grace ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Namsakoho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna, Gopinath, Shamakun, Radhakun, Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Brajabhumi, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Udip Maya Pradama ki, Yamuna Maya ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Tulsi Maharani ki, ISKCON BBD Founder Charya, save for the whole world, Shri Prabhupada ki, Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Vaisheshika Prabhu ki, December Marathon ki, I come back to Godhead ki, take all the fallen conditioned souls with us ki, go to Premanande, go to Premanande, go, Premanande. Oh, glory to the assembled devotees, glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Haribo! Shri Nam Prabhu ke, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ke, Book Prem Dan, Hare Nam Sankirtan ke, Kali Kali Nam Rup Krishna Avatara ke, Kirtan forever and ever and ever and ever and ever ke. We would have gone all night, but you have to go to work tomorrow, so.
No, we can take the day off.
Take the day off. All right, Hare Krishna. So who's the